Game Freak. The volume seems kind of low, doesn't it? Hold on. Let me fix that. That's better. So what's going on in the land of Pocket Monster? I don't remember. Right. This guy. We're gonna beat this guy. We're gonna get this guy leveled up. And then we're heading to the volcano, right? To the Team Maguma. The Team Maguma base. Yuki. Nanda, Jun. Ore Tosan ni tonamare. Tanoma. Reta. Kaimono. Shopping. Shitetanda. Betsuni. New? Is that new? No, that's moo. That's new. Nuiguru ni nanka katenayo. Sore yorimo hisashiburi ni. It wasn't that long ago. Atanda. Dochika umaku Pokemon sodateteru ka? Shoubu shitayo ka? Ma, ore ga Jun ni makeru wa ke nai n dakedo. I would like to be able to read those words, like, even if I don't really understand the word I am reading, it'd be nice to be able to read those words, like, flawlessly, you know? Just see them and immediately be able to analyze them. Toropios. That's a hard thing to do. Alright, ready? We're gonna get this guy with a Naito Shado. He used Amai Kaori. Sweet scent. Amai. Yummy. 31 damage. Okay, it's a 4-hit KO. What is he doing? Chad, would you say that Tropius is one of the more, like, weirdly underwhelming in terms of power based on its design? Majikuri Pu. Okay, relax. I was winning. He really used Sweet Scent twice and then picked a move that can't miss. That's astounding. Well, you did pretty good out there, champ. But I gotta send you out because you die in 2 hits. Like, it's gonna do nothing. Tropius is a Pokemon that looks like it's be very good in some capacity, and then the only stat it has is like special defense, which doesn't matter because it's a terrible typing. The Lapras level performance from looking at him. And the thing is that Lapras is actually a pretty good Pokemon. Lapras doesn't break any records or anything like that. Magu. Like, Lapras' stats, if you look at it in a vacuum, they leave a little bit to be desired in certain aspects, but Lapras has niches in different generations, which makes it cool. But Tropius has nothing. Tropius is just nothing. His physical attack is poor. Well, the thing is, most of his stats are poor. I think it's only his HP and his special defense. But Grass Flying is not good. Jupuru Toru. Jupitoru? I probably should have switched it to this guy first, but you won't get a much EXP from Magma Goo. One level 1 stage Pokemon as a kid, but Lapras taught me that some of them aren't bad. To be honest with you, I've always had an issue with non-evolving Pokemon in story playthroughs. Even if I know I like the Pokemon, there's something about the feeling of progress when you get the Pokemon to evolve that is, like, fun. But also, the single evolution Pokemon are quite strong in early game because, you know, they're just Pokemon that don't evolve, right? Oh, new move. What are you getting? Oh, Will-O-Wisp. Onihi. Onibi. So I don't need Screech. I don't need Screech. Burn is great. Being able to burn something, that's fantastic. Like, I can't think of a good example. I guess Sudowoodo is a Pokemon that you run into pretty early on in Gen 2. And it's not that great. Karipa. It's not that great, admittedly. But as a solo stage evolution, it can throw its weight around for a little bit, right? Sock carries he's been in my black playthrough because he's so strong for his join time. That's a good example, actually. Because you catch Soccer Throw right outside the normal gym, and he's a Pokemon that the Elite Four Marshall has. So, like, you're using an Elite Four level Pokemon, and he's level 18. He doesn't evolve, but his stat, like, the way his stats, his base stats are, he's stronger than so many other things until everything evolves around him. Then he kind of falls apart a little bit in places, but he doesn't really fall behind. And that's really a big thing, but it's weird because you use a Pokemon like that and it's like, oh, he doesn't evolve. But you like, it's like you like having your Pokemon evolve, right? So using the single stage Pokemon feels weird to me. Kanari sodateteru da na. Chotto kuyashii na toreina toshite wa ore no hoka ga. Senpai datta no ni. Okay, I think he said he's frustrated he lost even though he's my senpai in Pokemon. Ore Mishiro town ni modoro tsumori nanode. He's heading back home. Tosan no totsuda daite tsukuteiru Pokemon Zukan mo kekko dekite tashi. Ichito Tosan ni misete oganai to. Jun wa dou suru? What will you do, Jun? He's going back home to show his progress on his decks to his father. Yappari Zenbu no Jimmu Baji Atsumete Pokemon Rida Chosen Tsuro no ka? Ore mo sou shiyou kana. Maa ii ya. Tonikaku ganbare yo. Anyway, good luck. Okay. See, when I got Pokemon White, I like using Pokemon that are new to the generation whenever I do a first playthrough. So I make sure that my team is comprised of only new Pokemon, which gets kind of difficult sometimes. And I think the majority of my original Pokemon White team was kind of ass. Hold on, you can buy Blizzard in here, can't you? I think my original team was kind of ass. Because the only Pokemon I remember on my team was Emboar and Seismitoad. That's it. Those were my main Pokemon. That's safe. Wait, is that Protect? Yeah, Protect, Safeguard, Reflect, and Light Screen. So, I'd like Blizzard. There it is. Yuki. Give me one Blizzard. Here we are. Fubuki. Fubuki. Who can learn it? my whale can. I don't need water pulse. Well, I don't need rollout either. I don't need astonish actually. We'll get rid of astonish. Alright, now we have blizzard on our fat fuck. You know what? Might as well get another one for Swampert. Why not? Do I need Fire Blast? Do any of them learn these moves? That's Hyper Beam. Thunder. I don't need Thunder. I have Thunderbolt. Fire Blast could be good if anybody can learn it. I don't think anybody I have on my team can. Let me see. I'm getting Blizzard for Swampert because, you know, water types are kind of dumb anyway. I still have Tackle. Yeah. This is fine. I don't think Swampert will get anything else anyway. I want Earthquake, of course. I like Emboar. I don't like Emboar. To be honest with you, I don't like Emboar. But I did not like Snivy. Shadow... Wait. Oh, that's Shadow Ball. I was like, is that Sludge Bomb? I have Shadow Ball. So I can give it to Bayonet. If I need to. I don't want to, though. Where's Fire Blast? Where's Fire Blast? There it is. This is bulk up, idiot. It's Focus Punch. Denki Ki. That's Shockwave. Daimonji. Yeah, there he is. Daimonji. Oh no. What? Okay. That's unexpected. I did not like Oshawott. I thought Oshawott looked like a piece of shit. And I hated Snivy. Oh, I hated Snivy, man. So Tepig was just the lesser of two evils for me? Or three evils, I guess. Did I win? Zannen. Zannen. But then he evolved into Pignite, and I was like, oh, I have regrets. Oh, I already had regrets when he turned into Pignite, and then he turned to Emboar, and I was like, cope mechanism, maximum throttle. Right now, throttle yourself, maximum copium. And that's what I did. I maximized my copium and was like, no, he's pretty cool. I think he's, you know, he's like a fire pig. He's the third fire fighting starter in a row. And he's really slow and stupid and dumb and bad. Yep. Hold on, chat. Before we head to the Magma area, there's one more route we can check for encounter. We can go check the route below Mount Pyre real quick. Just for a quick encounter that might be something legit. Or it might not. Let me make a couple cells at the Poke store. It's funny because the Emboar ended up being the worst of all the Gen 3 starters for sure. I don't need 6 regular potions anymore. I don't need 2 regular repels. Soda Pop is fine. I got 6 full heals, so I don't need this anymore. No, I need that just in case. Revive is good. I don't know where the heart scale guy is. Don't really need a smoke ball, but it's nice to have. This is a full heal. I don't need it because I have full heals. Thunderstone. This is meant for selling. Okay. Flax Incense, Wave Incense. Gutsuha. Magu Matsu... Magutsu? Whatever. Get rid of it. Get rid of it, I don't need it. Unless that was like a PP max, which would be really embarrassing if I just sold that. Doesn't matter. Firefighting was a hot topic, yeah, because Blaziken was cool, and Infernape was still cool, but... And then Emboar was awful, and it's like, why are we doing firefighting 3 times in a row? And it's really funny, because Incineroar is a wrestler, and he's a fire dark type. Braixen was psychic, the opposite, so maybe they listened. Maybe they listened, who knows. Alright, let's go real quick. We're gonna head to that route. We're gonna head to that route south of Mount Pyre, see if we can get a cool juicer encounter. Starting to think a good idea here would be to give Smoke Ball to Shuppet. Because he still probably can't run from this thing. You know. Great. Well. Well, 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 well. Well, 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 well. Well, well, well. Well. Well, well, well. Okay. So which... Like, what starter was the best starter in each generation, right? Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. Charizard is probably the worst starter in terms of actual use in the game, but he's the most popular. Venusaur is weird because Venusaur is very good against the first 2 gyms, and then he has pretty much nothing but bad matchups until Giovanni. Squirtle, on the other hand, has a good matchup against Gym 2, or Gym 1 and Gym 8, much like Bulbasaur does, but he doesn't have, and he also has a good matchup against Gym 7, but he doesn't have a bad matchup against any gym except Surge and Erica. Like 3 and 4 are his weakness, yeah. And you could argue that that's every Pokemon's gonna have a weakness, but Squirtle gets away with a lot more because water types are good. You wanna fight me? Let's fight. Oh. You're just lost. Okay, never mind. Alright, here we go. We got some grass. Who's our super cool Pokemon to join the box? Let's find out. Sugoi Hisakusa. Hyper Potion. In Gen 2, Typhlosion. Typhlosion is probably the best by virtue of it getting Thunder Punch. But I guess Feraligatr gets Ice Punch. The difference is that Feraligatr is more attack stat orientated, with his stab option is special. And Meganium is bad. Meganium is a bad Pokemon. In Gen 3, Swampert is easily the best starter in a competitive environment. He's still pretty good. He's still pretty good in casual, right? What about Emboar justifies the fighting type? He's a wrestler. Which is funny because Incineroar is also a wrestler. Pignite's wearing a jockstrap. He's a big wrestler guy. Okay, Chad, I have a question. Is there actually anything in this grass that I haven't caught before that I could actually catch, or am I wasting our time? Am I wasting our time here? Sceptile is probably the weakest of the starters in a story playthrough. I would say that Mudkip is the strongest. He is strongest competitively as well. Blaziken has good matchups. It might depend on the game you're playing. Blaziken's very good against Steven. Blaziken is very, very good against Steven. Blaziken's also good against Sydney and Glacia. So he has advantage against half of the Elite Four alone. What about Swampert? Does Swampert have advantage on any of them? No, actually. He can learn an ice move for Drake, though. What about Gen 4? Well, Infernape in Diamond and Pearl is easily the best pick because there's no other fire type in the game except Ponyta. I have Oddish. I've caught an Oddish, I've caught a Poochyena, I've caught a Wingull, and I caught a Shuppet. I don't know if there's anything else here that I can catch that would be new. It doesn't seem like there is, though. Seems like I've cleared out this encounter table in different routes to the point where this is a waste of time. Well, that's fine. Let's just battle. You wanna fight me? Kecleon? I didn't bother catching Kecleon because I didn't want it. Okuriyama wa Pokemon no tamashi ga nemuri tokoro. Anata no Pokemon mo nemuru no Torena ga inai toki wa Fubun no Pokemon doshi wo tatakawasete nagamete iru zo. Okay. And Gen 5, I actually don't know which starter is the best one in that one. Sachiko, and Suguru. Sachiko and Suguru. Yomawaru and Zangusu. Superior is the best because it is my favorite. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. Superior is not that great, but then Superior got access to Contrary and it became pretty great. I actually kind of hate it. Gen 6 Greninja is very, very good, but I chose Delphox. I tend to choose the fire starter regardless. I chose Charmander. Actually, that's not true. No, that is true, actually. In Gen 1, I chose Charmander. In Gen 2, I chose Totodile. In Gen 3, I chose Mudkip. In Gen 4, I chose Piplup. In Gen 5, I chose Tepig. In Gen 6, I chose Fennekin. In Gen 7, I took Popplio. In Gen 8... In Gen 8, I took Grookey, actually. Gen 8, I took Grookey. In Gen 9, I took Puikoko. So I think I did 4, 4, and 1. I took the grass starter once. And that was in Gen 8 with the monkey. I took the monkey. The final gym leader and the champion both having water types is Dumb, Stinky, Dumb. Dumb, Stinky, and Dumb. Oh, it didn't die? He'll die to this. Yeah, so that was fire, water, 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 fire, fire, water, grass, fire. So yeah, I've chosen 4 fire starters, 4 water starters, and 1 grass starter on my first playthroughs. You want to hear something funny? So when I was a kid, I played through Fire Red with Charizard. I played through Fire Red with Venusaur. I had never played through the game with Blastoise, ever. So one time I started with Squirtle, and I was in Viridian Forest, and they did not die to my tackles, and I didn't have Ember, and I got so bored that I restarted again anyway, and just picked a different starter. Apparently I hated Squirtle. Genki ippai ne. Kimi no Pokemon mo ii na. Ine. 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 I just told Squirtle to fuck off. Kind of a bad thing to do, isn't it? Kinagi Town. Pacific log. just Lava Ridge. La 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 la. Okay. I don't know, man. I just never fucked with Blastoise. Never fucked with Blastoise. Fuck with Venusaur, fuck with Charizard, never fuck with Blastoise. I'll never pick Chikorita if I could help it. Chikorita is not a Pokemon worth considering in a playthrough. Kind of a shame. Alright, we're going up the mountain, boys. Wait, before that, let me go grab the, let me go grab... Wait, who has strength? Did I give strength to somebody? I think I did, right? I'll have to figure that out after. Oh, Gus. The encounter table in here is too high. Oh, shit! It's a turtle! Kotasu. Another one? I thought you were a rare encounter, my guy. This Pokemon sucks, but I got access to Drought, so it became less suck. Well. Kairiki. You know what? It's okay for you to have it, because the only thing that you click, genuinely the only thing that you click is Thunderbolt. So you can just have this as a throwaway. So that's all you need for an electric type. Just having somebody who can click Thunderbolt for you in the back. Very helpful. Do they purposefully make Pokemon bad? No. Yes. I actually wonder sometimes about how they decide which Pokemon gets to be good and which Pokemon doesn't. Because some Pokemon... Like, not every Pokemon needs to be competitively minded. Like, not all of them need to be... have stats that make them competitively viable, mind you. But, like, some of them are so comically bad without even being gimmick Pokemon that it's actually astounding. And you have to wonder what's going on with that. Yeah, Regigigas having slow start is very strange, because it's something that they're very adamant about him having. But even without slow start, Regigigas is not like a groundbreaking legendary. It's even more confusing nowadays where you look at the power creep that has happened in Pokemon and how Pokemon like Regigigas is extremely tame relative to some of the other shit they've allowed to run around. My favorite is the creature Dragovish they created. They created Dragovish, gave him Strong Jaw, and a Vicious Rend, which is a move that doubles its power if the user goes first. So the amount of damage that Dragovish can do, I think this is a Firestone, isn't it? Hoishi, yeah. Honoishi. The amount of damage that Dragovish can do with a Vicious Rend under the right conditions is about as strong, if not stronger, than a Gen 1 Explosion. Because I think it's 80 base power, so Strong Jaw increases it by 30%. Rain boosts it by 0.5, Stab boosts it. It doubles its power if it goes first. All the rocks reset. That's nice. He can have a Choice Band as well. So yeah. So if you didn't know, in Gen 1, Self-Destruct and Explosion had different power values than Gen 2 onward. In Gen 2 onward, Self-Destruct is 200 power, and Explosion is 250. I believe in Gen 1, Self-Destruct is 130, so it's weaker than Hyper Beam. and Explosion is 180. However, prior to Gen 5, Explosion and Self-Destruct had an alternate effect that they did. Well, not alternate. They had an additional effect they did that they never actually mentioned, and that it halves the opponent's defense on damage calculation. So it effectively doubles the power of the move because it's only using half of your opponent's defense stat in the damage calculation. So that's really cool, right? So exploding was a very high, you know, if you exploded, you lost your Pokemon, but it did very, very high amount of damage. But then they made it so it didn't do that anymore, and exploding became less valuable overall. But it, like I said, Dragovich in Gen 8 has the potential to use a move that is as strong, if not stronger, than Gen 1 Explosion. And he doesn't have to die for it. Oh. Oops, wrong way. Oh, magma no chirushi ni hannou shite oukina iwa ka. Iwa ga biru biru to shinto shiteiru. Wa magma goo. Okay. Magma dan ajito. I think there's Pokemon in here, isn't there? So maybe I do get the Smoke Ball. That's the lead. Remember this place in Emerald Kaizo? I remember this place in Emerald Kaizo. This is where Emerald Kaizo, like, died for pretty much everybody who played it. Where the Constant Sun 6v6 teams just became an absolute fucking slog that was the opposite of fun and enjoyment and challenge. I mean, I personally think Emerald Kaizo sucks anyway, but, you know. I did get to the end of it. I got to the end, and then I traded out my team at the Elite Four. I traded out my team at the Elite Four with a team of 6 Wobbuffets. And then I cheesed the shit out of them all. And I felt no remorse. Okay, maybe don't kill me. I'm trying to catch you, my guy. That's very weak. Alright, I'll get my ball. Monster Board. Wow. Dragovich is interesting as well because it did also highlight an aspect. It highlighted an aspect of the meta where some Pokemon who aren't actually, like, good just match up really well with important Pokemon in the meta itself. So what I mean by that is that the number 3 Pokemon in usage in Generation 3 was Seismitoad. Seismitoad sucks, but Seismitoad had access to Water Absorb, which meant it took 0 damage to Dragovich clicking the button that kills everything else in the game. It also had Stealth Rock, and it could had access to Toxic, so it had some pretty good moves, but none of it really mattered because it was on Seismitoad. But because Seismitoad was the only Pokemon, one of 2 of only Pokemon who could switch into that thing and not die, he was the number 3 in OU usage. And when Dragovich got banned, Seismitoad disappeared. He disappeared forever. This Pokemon is the strongest who can use Explosion. I don't know. Snorlax and Mewtwo both learn Self-Destruct. Snorlax gets Stab on Self-Destruct. But it might be him based on that. But most Pokemon who explode are not actually normal types. You'd have to look at the list. Basically, find which one has the highest base attack stat and then figure out which one gets stab on it. You might be wondering why exactly Snorlax can self-destruct, and to that I say, I don't know. But he can. Snorlax can explode. Grida ni iwareta tori en Totsuyama o dondon hoteitara. Tondemonai mon ga dechimatta. Nani ga detakatte? Fuahaha ore o taosetara oshiete yaro. Like, I'll tell you what you want. Okay. Bat people can explode. No. So, explosion and self-destruct have the kind of idea that the Pokemon is blowing themselves up, but it's kind of more like it's more like a release of power, like because Mewtwo can do it. Mewtwo can self-destruct, but it's not so much that Mewtwo is exploding, it's that it's just unleashing all its energy in one big final explosion. But there are also Pokemon like Electrode who are known to explode, like physically explode. But I think like self-destruct is more of a release of mass power. So in Snorlax's case, it's a massive brat because he eats 800 pounds of food on the day. So he gets up and his tummy rumbles, and then it's magnetic shockwave, and then he's like, that wasn't a fart, and dies. And that's what Snorlax's self-destruct is. Or more likely, it's just the idea that he can concentrate all of the energy in his body into one big kaboom, and then he falls over dead. Pokemon being able to explode is a very scary thing, though, isn't it? Like, this thing can explode. What would happen if Geodude exploded? It would fire debris everywhere. But it's not so much that the Pokemon itself is exploding, it's just expending all of its energy. And that's kind of how I assume it is, because if the Pokemon actually physically exploded, that would be problematic. So it's more so just a matter of using all of its energy. I'm actually surprised that explosion and self-destruct's power aren't dictated by the remaining health that a Pokemon has, because you'd think that stamina would play a part in how much strength the Pokemon has to expend as a final move. Because the moves Eruption and Water Spout have that negative, where they're 150 base power at full health and they drop really fast the lower your health goes. But Explosion's just like, oh, you have 1 HP? That's okay, you can use a full powered Explosion. Use everything you have left. Because there's another move that also causes the user to self-faint called Final Gambit. Kora, ore no... It's me, right? Yeah. Menomae o damatte tsudori saseru wake ni wa ikanazo. I forgot what I was just talking about. Bomberu. Chat, please remind me what I was just talking about. Alright, I remember. So there's a move called Final Gambit. Final Gambit makes the user faint, but it takes away as much HP as the user has left from the opponent, which makes sense. Okay, that's great. I'd say that makes sense. But no, Explosion and Self-Destruct are just, yeah, no matter what your HP is, you could just unleash a massive explosion and do a fuckload of damage and you die regardless. It's like, okay, well, sure. There's a couple moves that cause self-inflict fainting. There's Memento, Healing Wish. I believe Lunar Dance also does it. And then Explosion, Self-Destruct. Uwa makemashita. Getting burned is kind of sad. You're burned no more, my friend. Using moves that make you faint is cringe. I would never do such a thing. Memento is a funny one. Actually, you know what a funny move is? Grudge. Moo moo moo. Koko ni haite koreru no ha magma dan no menba dake no hatsu. Nano ni onata wa magma dan no fuku o kitai nai. Ayashi yatsume watashi to joubu shinanasai. Yeah, Final Gambit's not a very good move to use because you would want to use it in a situation where you'll die anyway. But then in that position, you don't do any damage with it, like, at all. So, yeah, that kind of blows. The Pokemon that learn it, there are 3 Pokemon that I can remember that learn it. That's Staraptor, Excelgor, and Ninjask. Those 3 Pokemon can learn that. Oh. Okay, I was about to say, there's a move. Okay. There's a move in Gen 3 called Grudge. So, Grudge is a pretty uncommon move. And what it does is if the user faints, if the user of the move faints, they... Oh, he crit me. Great, and he flinched me. Oh no, he didn't. Okay. If the user of the move faints, it reduces the PP of the move that took the Pokemon out to 0. Which is kind of not that helpful. I mean, it's not that it's not helpful, but there's also a move called Destiny Bond, which makes it so if that exact same situation happens, the Pokemon dies. Wa. Magma Dan no... What? Puraido ga... I'm pretty sure every Pokemon that can learn Grudge also learns Destiny Bond anyway. So there's no reason to ever use Grudge. It's like, you killed me, so now you can't use that move anymore. Versus, you killed me, so now your Pokemon is dead too. And it's like, what? Why even bother with that? Mumu Ayashi Yatsume. Yatsume. Yajiron. Reminder that I still don't have an attack. Yeah, with a crit. I still don't have an attack outside of Nightshade on this bastard. I do have burn. I can burn, which is pretty good. Whoa, spooky. Shadow Ball. Oh. Donmeru. You're not giving me any EXP. Ho. It's a good thing Destiny Bond only has 5 PP, huh? Destiny Bond is such a cheeser move, though. It's such a cheeser move. Ooh. What is that? Ununu? What does that mean? What are the words you're saying? half dead. Not even a problem. No problem. Ya. Ayashi Yatsume. Wait, why do they keep saying the same thing? Suspicious intruder. I will awaken the legendary bird. Moltres? No, the other one. Isn't it really sad that I'm outsped by that thing? Doesn't that just make you want to cry? Did Gen 3 introduce any new ghost types? The answer is no. Not really. Phoebe's team is 2 Bayonets, 2 Dusclops, and a Sableye. That's her team. Glacia's team is 2 Celio, 2 Glalie, and 1 Walrein. I kind of hate that that's their team structure. That feels really stupid. This guy has the same team as the other guy. No, he doesn't. That's a Zubat. That actually bothers me. Like, I know Agatha had 2 Gengars because Agatha was a ghost type. They made Agatha a ghost type Elite Four, and they made one family of ghost types in the entire game. So she has 2 Gengar, and then she has a bunch of poison types. Which, you know. But Lance also is a Dragon Master, and there's also 1 Dragon type, so... They I don't know, dude. I don't know. They had a bunch of water and ice types for Lorela. Dugong, Jinx, Slowbro. Wait, sorry. Slowbro's a water and a psychic type. Okay, Lorelei is supposed to be ice types, but she has a Slowbro, and yeah. She has a Slowbro. Let's just... whatever. She's a water ice trainer, essentially, because she's got Cloyster, Lapras, and Dugong are all part water. Jinx is the only ice type that she has that isn't all part water. And then Slowbo, who is just kind of there for some reason. Bruno has 2 Onyxes. He doesn't have Poliwrath or Primeape. I do find that kind of funny because Onyx is definitely an inferior Pokemon to both Primeape. Both Primeape and Poliwrath, but Primeape and Poliwrath, they're still pretty bad Pokemon. And then they ended up being Chuck's Pokemon. And they were only good because the fucking Poliwrath was level 30 and it spammed Hypnosis. That's it. That's it, mine. Follow a theme and it's less restricted Pokemon types due to more consequence and limitations. I guess, but I think it's more so just the fact that it's limited. It's limited, right? Anata ni uramisu wa nai kedo kore mo muireti dakara ne. Me. It's me. Yeah. Ore te atsugari nandayo moshikara te aquadan ni haita hoga yokatta no kana. Like, Brock had Geodude and Onix, Misty had Staryu and Starmie, Surge had Voltorb, Magnemite, and Raichu, Erica had Victory Bell, Tangela, and Vileplume. Koga had Wheezing, Coughing, Muck, and... Did he have 2 Coughings? I don't remember. Sabrina had a Venomoth. I guess. She had a Venomoth, which is kind of weird. I think she had Mr. Mime as well, right? Mr. Mime, Alakazam, Venomoth. There are plenty of Psychic types for her to choose from, but she had a Venomoth for some reason. I believe in Yellow version, she only has 1 Pokemon, and that's her Alakazam, right? And then Blaine has Rapidash, Arcanine, Growlithe, Ponyta. And Giovanni has... I believe Giovanni has Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Dugtrio, Rhyhorn, and Rhydon, right? Really, Gen 1 kind of gets away with it because there was a limit to how much stuff there was in the game. But Gen 4 made a weird choice. Gen 4 made a bit of a weird choice with that, where it made it did make a fire type Elite Four, remember, in a game where the only fire types you could get were the starter Pokemon and Ponyta. But there were enough fire types in the decks really to make it work, and they fixed that problem in Platinum. Watashi wa maketa kedo yappari ore magmadan wa muitenai kamo. Yeah, isn't it kind of funny how there was a thematic aspect to it? So Flint's team, despite only having 2 real fire types, had 3 other Pokemon that I guess were supposed to symbolize fire in some way. So he had a hot air balloon, and he had a Lopunny, and he had a Steelix. I don't really know what the Steelix was supposed to symbolize for fire. I don't want to know what the Lopunny was intended by the devs to represent. And then the Drifblim made enough sense to me. Yellow gives Sabrina a level 50 Abra that only knows Flash. Oh. Flint and Steel, like the Minecraft movie. Huh. Well, how about that? I don't know where I'm going. I'm using my gold spray. Lucian had a Girafarig that gets replaced. Aaron had a Beautifly and a Dustox that gets replaced. And Bertha, I believe Bertha had a Sudowoodo that gets replaced. In Platinum, she's got Rhyperior and Gliscor. But she's got a Hippowdon. She's got Hippowdon and Golem and something else. I think Wishcash. Tokidoki Jihibiki ga Kikoerundayo. Sorete Kazan no Shinbo kana? Soretomo Gura? Gura? Otototo nandemo nai yo. Do you hear that? That's the legendary Gura. Oh, never mind. Ooh. He almost spilt the beans. Guy's got a singular Zubat. He's gonna fight me with a singular Zubat. Yeah, so Aaron's got a Vespiquen, a Drapion, a Beautifly, a Dustox, and I believe Heracross. And in Platinum, the Beautifly and the Dustox get replaced by Scizor and Yanmega, which is a pretty powerful bug lineup. Bertha has Hippowdon. She's got Hippowdon, Golem, Wishcash, Sudowoodo, and something else. I don't remember what, but in Platinum, she's got Hippowdon, Rhyperior, Gliscor, and I believe she still has Golem, and she has Wishcash. So the Sudowoodo gets replaced, but I don't remember what the Rhyperior is replacing. Mu kaze no you ni atsui na kimi wa. We discussed Flint. Flint has a Flareon and a Magmodar. And something else I'm forgetting. Magma no shirushi o doko ka ni otoshita te osawagi shiteuru yasu ga ita kedo. Ah, moshikashite sore hirota no omae? And Lucian has a Bronzong, Mr. Mime, Girafarig, Alakazam, and I think he had another Bronzong. He has an Alakazam. He gets an Espeon, I believe, and a Gallade. And he loses the Girafarig. And then Cynthia replaces Gastrodon with Togekiss. And I don't think she changed much else. Her team is Spiritomb, Milotic, Roserade, Garchomp, Lucario, and yeah, Togekiss. Yeah, Togekiss replaces Gastrodon. Because she gives you an egg, she gives you the Togepi egg in Eterna. So it makes sense for her to have a Togekiss. But she has a Gastrodon in the anime. She does. She has a Gastrodon and a Togekiss in the anime. Oh, ouch. Kawaii Cow. Scary face. Please don't hit yourself again. Good job, you buff asshole. Isn't he strong? Nante Yatsuda. Look at my guy. So big, so powerful, so muscles. Pipi Magutsu. Magutsu. Where am I going? I don't know where I am anymore. Am I going the right way? I guess I have to be. Magmadan wa gore ga kakata toki hayaku seiretsu shita junban de joyo na basho no keibi o makasete moraeron da zo. Ore ga konna tsumiko ni iru no wa chikoku bakkari shiteru kara sa. Ya. Maguma. This guy talked a lot for a grunt with one Zubat. Maybe a little too much for a guy with one Zubat. So Chad, I was watching, I watched Vinny last night and he was playing some horror games. And by horror games, I mean horrible games. He played this pill game that is like buckshot roulette, but you eat pills, and man, all I could think of is how many games do you think exist that follow that format? But then immediately after, he played Zarby's Cave. Tore ningu. Tore ningu ni mo chinoku suru ore da. Ware nakara yoraizai. Mascot horror, buckshot horror, Fushigi no Ame. All that for a Fushigi no Ame. Okay, well now I know which way to go, so I'm gonna escape rope and heal, and go buy some repels, and do it all again. Here we go. Horror games are like junk food. They're very rarely good. Sometimes they don't even taste that great, but like you develop a long-term addiction to them to where you have to see where they go because they're so Like, it's like McDonald's, you know? When you look at McDonald's, you're like, man, this is shit, this is garbage, this is, like, gonna kill me in 5 days. But then you eat it anyway, and you're like, alright, that was definitely something that I probably shouldn't have ate, but I ate it anyway. That's horror games. Horror games are that greasy grease food. I mean, I might as well, because I'll need them later, but... Here they are. Super! There we go. It's schloop. It's all schloop. But it's true. I don't know if I'd call it slop per se, but I think a vast majority of genres in horror have been done to death to the point where it's hard to actually make something that's interesting and not, like, makes you laugh. But also, horror is a genre in general where it's easy to get it wrong because any mistake to break the immersion of the game causes the entire game to be perceived in a way that is comical. And when games are truly scary, they cope with humor. Humor is a coping mechanism, so if your game is actually succeeding in being spooky, then there's an even greater chance that people will try to dismiss that feeling of spooky by being a jokester. But also, if you're being a streamer on the internet, you're probably being a jokester at the expense of the game anyway, because the game is probably not that scary, and you're, like, taking the piss out of it. So you see this, like, you see how horror feels like a doomed genre, but then you look at the success rate of horror properties, and these stinky horror games, and they do really well for themselves. It's like, how? How do they do it? When everything seems like they should come up fail, but they don't. Nande ore wa konna tokoro no tanto nanda yo. Hidari no mimi ga atsui jane ka. He's next to it, yeah, he's next to a fucking bubbling lava. Horror mod slop. Horror mod slop. Slop, 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 slop. It's all slop. You could, there's probably like hundreds of shitty Gmod horror maps. There's probably hundreds of them, and and the majority of them play the same way. The majority of them play the same way, but you can't help but wonder if the next one you play will actually be good, so you play it anyway. Atsukuto hero hero. Yaha. Glurp. The secret drilling room. Gmod horror. I don't want to play Gmod horror. What are you doing in here, dude? Anonarida no iu koto wa ore ni mo yoku wakaru n da kedo na. Chou kotai Pokemon hori dashitari hito no inseki o yokodori shitari. Nanka sore te chotto yaritsuki no yona kimo surun da yona. Omae do omo. Welcome to Scary House. Enter the Scary House. Boom! Did you like my map? Please rate high on the workshop. Give me high rating, and I make part 2 maybe if I feel like. Ooh, subscribe for more horror map. Yeah. Gross image followed by loud noise equals scary. They almost never make part 2. See, that's why you gotta hold out hope that this isn't like all the others. This guy's new, you know? He's new to the game. He'll make that. He'll make that new map. A WOD for Doom that it was spooky. I am familiar with myhouse.wad, which I think is... that's my favorite type of horror. Yappari nanka machikai taro yona. Myhouse.wad is my type of horror. A real psychological type of horror that isn't really so much scary as it is just weird and intriguing. It's not designed to make you pee your pant, but it's designed to make you feel uneasy. And it does a very good job of that. Atashi tachi wa rida ga mezai teiru tsubarashi mokuteki o jitsugen suru tame ni otsumata no magmadan daro ga toritsukari no okisama daro ga jama o suru nara yurusanai wa. Well, let me get in the way. Yes. My house is very good. I mean, I'm a fan of Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is not really... Again, Yume Nikki is not really horror. It's not really horror. It's not really horror, but it's a fascinating kind of experience that pretty much every world you go to kind of makes you uncomfortable to a degree. Some of them are a little easy on the psyche, and others are kind of like disturbing. And that variance is what makes it its strength. I like Yume Tuki, but Yume Tuki is extremely bloated. Hie anadore nai hito. Yume Tuki is extremely bloated, and there's multiple different creators, so there's no constant vision. Some individual maps stand out, and maps that connect to other maps of the creator stand out. So there's situations like that, but sometimes you just end up in a world that is completely fucking random or stupid, and it takes you out of the game for a little bit. There's a lot of fascinating worlds, but I think the strength of Yume Nikki is more so the correlation of the worlds by one individual's ideas, because the idea of all the different worlds together tell a story, right? Ore mo Groudon o mitai no ni mada shippo sura masete marai nakute. Ira shiteru nda. Groudon no niko no koto ichatta. Oops, he blabbed about Groudon, the Ghoul's Forest. No, I think like Yume Nikki and .flow are really good. They're really good because it's like when you explore a world in Yume Nikki, everything within the game is from the mental, like the internal perspective of the character, and you can kind of not really make up your own ideas of what's going on, but you can interpret different aspects of the dream, because dreams are reflective of the psyche, right? So you can kind of see dreams as an abstract window into the things that went on in the character's life that led them to be in the situation they're in. You don't get that in Tuki. Tuki is less about telling a story and more so about just different ideas thrown together. But it's fun because there's a lot of different things to see. And I think it's cool to see different creators make different maps. But some of the creators that for Tuki, I think, should make their own games because they have good ideas. and it'd be cool to see them in their own games, their own like full fleshed out games. And some creators don't deserve to make maps at all in that game. So there's a bit of a contrast to my feelings on that one. Yappari wa reisei na reisei na kimochi o ushinatte itara kantenai na. I would recommend you play Yume Nikki. Yume Nikki is a game that this is how you should approach it, in my honest opinion. Yume Nikki should be approached in a way where you play the game on your own for about an hour, maybe 2, depending on how much fun you're having wandering around Lost. And once you feel like you're going in a circle and you don't know how to make advancements, that's when you pull up a guide and just start taking the tour. You start taking the guided tour after that. Fuhawa Motsugu ga ore tachi no mokuteki ga jitsugen tsuru. Mada mada kantan no oku e ikasasenai. Okay. Fuhaha, like a laugh. Oh. I thought fuwaha, like fuwa, like fluffy. Ours doesn't make much sense, does it? Ha, ha, ha. Get out of there, man. I gotta surf on these fools. I think Spooky's House of Jump Scares is pretty good as well. For horror. Oh, well, okay. Crit. So much for that. Irrelevant switch. Go! Kokomade kitei nakara ore te taosu no kantan datta. It should just be... No, we're still going, okay. What is he saying to me? Uhyo, kokomade kitanda kara oshiete yaro. So sa kono saki ni wa Groudon ga nemute iro nasa. Matsubusa sama wa tataima Groudon no tokoro e ita. Motsugu nemuri kara me o samateze. Uhyo. The worst horror game you've ever seen. That's Homura. The worst horror game you've ever seen that you can actually like remember the name of, and it's not just a matter of like, you know. How do you feel about Slender Man? You think Slender Man was scary? You think Slender Man had scary games? What about Slender Tubbies? You ever see a Slender Tubby game? Now that's a game with chest hair. Guraina. Guraina? The fuck is a Guraina? Oh. Oh, dear Groudon. You're slender since I was 11. Why were you looking at slender when you were 11 years old? What the fuck? Did you have unsupervised access to the internet? Well, I guess it's me and you now. That was the wrong move. Bro, I'm switching again. I'm not playing this game. Unrestricted access to the internet at the age of 11. That's how you develop, your formulative years. Combat soup. A horror game with a flying head full of fangs, you need to run away from it. I can't even begin. I can't even begin to pin something like that down. Did you think Resident Evil 7 was scary? I thought Resident Evil 7 was scary until they gave you a gun. Granted, I never played it myself, but the presentation of Resident Evil 7 was definitely scary. Gobatto. The presentation of that game was quite scary. And then they gave you a gun, and it was like, ch-ch. So now there's nothing to be afraid of because I have a gun. That's not Golbat, that's Zubat. I just assumed you'd have a Golbat because look where we are. RE9's probably gonna be kind of scary. Baguda. That's Worm. That's his name. Worm. Quack. RE7 was gross. Yeah, it was kind of slimy, but that slimy aesthetic is kind of what helps for it, right? You're going to this fucking swamp house and it's like, ew. But like, it's kind of like how it is though, right? Isn't that just kind of how that is though? Like, the aesthetic of abandoned buildings is terrifying, isn't it? Don't you find abandoned buildings kind of scary? So like, when a building is run down and in disrepair, it makes me think, oh, probably shouldn't be here, huh? Right? And then when you're in a horror game in that setting, it's like, this place is grunge. Like, if you're running around in an environment where it's nice, it's like, are you really as scared? Well, you can be depending on the circumstances surrounding it, but old and grungy is different. Magma ni nemuro Groudon o nani o shite mo mezame nakata omae ga motto motte ita no wa oi airo no tama so nan daro sa a koko ni motte kite yatta zo kono kagayaki de me o samase そして本当の力を私に見せておくれ Outlast is pretty gross. That's correct. Outlast was pretty gross. Groudon. Groudon 一体どうしたといるんだ藍色の玉ではダメだと言うのかグラウドンよどこへ消えてしまったんだお前か落ちてでもこっちでもちょことうろつき 回っていたようだが、なるほど、お前が何か小細工をしていたんだな。This is not a bad fight. He's got Mighty and a Golbat and Camera. Yeah. 37? Wow. That's random. Oh. Should have gave myself a Persian berry, huh? You got him. You're dead. Bye-bye. Juiced. Groudon. Am I faster? Probably not. Oh, he's got a Groudon. I'm faster? Wow. You're not dead, but paralyzing nice. Ayashi Hikari. Oh. Did you really potion at half HP? You used a super potion. You don't even have the good stuff. He doesn't even have the good stuff. Okay. Bro. He switched. He switched. Jishin. That seemed like it did a lot, but trust me when I say it doesn't matter that I'm 4 levels lower than him. He's dead to that. Split. Alright, and now his Crobat is in death distance to this spot. Kurobato. Did he really potion again? What are you doing? You're wasting my time. Was Sonic EXE scary when you were a kid? Did that scare you as a kid? Did you watch the streamer or the YouTubers play the Sonic EXE game and you went, "Oop, how scared." Omae wa naze sonna ni Pokemon o umaku otsukaeru no da? Groudon ga nigeta shita no ni wa nanika wake ga aru. So itari no daro. Sore gurai watashi mo waga te natsa. Groudon ga inaku natte shimaeba mo konna yama ni yo wa nai. Watashi wa Groudon o oikakeru kara. Omae tomo koko de owakare da na. Okay, bye. Visually, he was scary as Sonic. Well, I was afraid of red eyes and black sclera as well. I fully admit. Zalgo was a trend that spooked me. That's for sure. Alright, we're getting out of here, boys. Streamer? This isn't the way to go, to leave. I know that! It's this way. Use your escape rope. No. I might need it. I might need it later. This isn't really their hideout so much as it's just their hangout. Alright, get me out of here. Salgo's funny because it lags my computer. Okay. Dude, when I first got this computer, I had a crash error. There was a crash error that I don't know what it was. I have no info on what exactly it was, but I remember that it closed my browser and it turned my screen black and red. And it was just like fatal error occurred, restart system. And that only happened about twice, and it never happened again. Scary, isn't it? Alright, boys. We've made our progress. It is now for us to regress. Okay. I have beaten Magma, so now I can head to Moss Deep, and that'll be the 7th gym. And we're doing great. We're doing great. Oh.